Welcome to another episode of Roll Up a Power Up. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured. Alright, now we'll be here on the day, Mr. Roll Up. Well, I got another prison story for y'all. How about that? You know what I'm saying? So, since, like I said yesterday with the story I told y'all about, YBI, Tiger, and Clint, it made me think about another motherfucking legend I was in the joint with. You know what I'm saying? How about that? Y'all is tweaking, bro. Yes, I had to roll the wood for y'all. Y'all be tweaking, bro. How about that? Now, this one is gonna be about my man's Joy Road Red, bro. Y'all is tweaking, man. And I'm gonna have a picture of him, you know what I'm saying, the thumbnail. So y'all know I ain't capping, you know. Rest in peace to my boy, you know. Real shit. Now y'all already know I don't come on here capping anyway. But y'all know for sure I don't play with the dead. You know what I'm saying? And my boy, he dead and gone, you know. And this is why I'm making the video about him, you know. Real shit. So we're gonna break all this shit down, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell y'all, the memories I got with bro, you know. How about that? Alright. So let's start this shit from the top. Y'all know how it go, man. So this was 2012 when I first went to the joint, right? I caught my case in 2011, but y'all know the way how court process go and sentencing and all of this shit. I didn't get sentenced until January of 2012. So I hit the joint January of 2012 type shit, right? Well, February 2012, because I had to go do the 30 days in Jackson, you know. So about February of 2012, I hit the yard. Y'all ass tweaking, bro. So I hit the yard. I'm on Adrian. This is the same yard that I was talking about, YBI, Tiger, and Clint. Same yard, right? Joy Road Red. His real name is Charles Tillman. So if y'all want to look him up, y'all can. His prison number was 305 something. Y'all know Michigan prison numbers is 6 numbers, right? I just remember his first 3 numbers. It was 305, and I don't remember the last 3, but his name Charles Tillman. You know what I'm saying? So y'all know this all facts. Ain't no made up shit. How about that? So when I hit the yard, right, I told y'all, I had to get acquainted with everybody, and, I had to learn how prison worked, and, blah, 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 right? Well, with that being said, in the day rooms, right, you got 3 day rooms. One day room is the quiet, they call it the quiet room, which is where the JPay machines at, where you read your book, shit like this, the quiet room. That's one day room. The second day room is the middle day room. That day room got a TV in it, and it got a couple of benches, so some people can sit down and watch their TV, and it got a bunch of tables in there. The tables that they have in that middle day room it's a round table. It's all stainless steel, right? It's a round table, and then it got seats that's connected to that round table. And the seats is round seats, all stainless steel. You know what I'm saying? No back piece on it. It's just round seats. Well, yeah, round seats and a round table. And the seats is connected to the table, right? So basically, you can come slide up, sit on the seat real easy, and you could jump off the seat real easy, type shit, right? It's like 3 or 4 of them type of tables in that middle day room. The middle day room is labeled as the sports room, right? So like all they watch is sports in there. They watch sports in there, and the tables that's in there is for like playing cards, dominoes, shit like that, right? Then the third day room is the movie room. It's a TV in there. All they watch is movies in that room. Movies and the news, type shit, right? It's a microwave in there, and it's a bunch of benches in there for everybody to sit down and watch the movies, right? Well, them the day rooms, all right? So with that being said, it's the middle day room, the sports room, right? You had a crew of older guys that played dominoes in there all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? Like that was their thing, right? The niggas at the dominoes table, you had Dial. I spoke on Dial before, a killer slash funny boy, You had DX. DX was original Wes Warren. I'm gonna get to him, You had this dark skinned guy, his name Black. They called him Black. He was another OG killing ass nigga. He was on the table. And you had Joy Roll Red. They was the main guys that ran that table. And they wouldn't let nobody else on the table. Like, you had to have skills to be on that dominoes table. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you couldn't play, you could never sit down ever again. Like, they did not play. They was serious about that dominoes table. The dominoes table and the poker table. Them was the two most serious tables, you know what I'm saying, in that day room. Like, if you don't know what you're doing, that's it. You only get one chance to prove yourself type shit, right? And you got to know somebody from one of them tables to introduce you to that table. It ain't like you could just come sit down and just play. Like, nah. You had to know one of them people from that table, and they had to introduce you to that table. And then when they finally let you play, you had to prove yourself, right? That prison politics, y'all last weekend, bro. Anyway, I'm cold at dominoes, you know what I'm saying? So like, I always wanted to get on the table with them. So I watched them, watch how they play, and they all was some domino playing ass niggas. They was about that, right? Anyway, Red, Joy Roll Red, Charles Tillman, the loudest nigga at the table. Like, he was a big, light-skinned nigga. Again, his picture be in the thumbnail, right? Big ass, light-skinned, big nigga. Big as hell. Nigga, a bench press 315 20 times, like, no problem. Three plates. You know what I'm saying? That nigga bench press 345 pound plates. That's 315. And including the bar. You know what I'm saying? The bar like 45 pounds. So it all equal out to 315. You know what I'm saying? I don't got time to break down the math on all that. Y'all know what it is. How about that? 315. That nigga bench press 315 20 times. No problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, that nigga was strong as fuck. Big, strong ass nigga. But anyway, he was real loud. Like, he had a real loud mouth. His voice carried. You know what I'm saying? You would hear that nigga, you would be on the front yard, you would hear him on the backyard talking. You know what I'm saying? The back 40 and the front yard is a nice distance from each other. You know what I'm saying? And then there's like a building there that kind of cover the front yard from the backyard, so it ain't like you be on the front yard and you could look at everybody on the backyard. Like, you a building right there, so you couldn't even see people on the backyard or nothing. But you can hear Red ass, you know what I'm saying? Like, his voice carried like that. Y'all ass tweaking, bro. Anyway, with that being said, I'm coming by, I'm watching them on the table every day. Like, I was watching them on the table for like a month straight, every day. They wouldn't even look at me, you know what I'm saying? Consider me to play, because they didn't know me, you know what I'm saying? But I'd be watching them, watch how they play and shit, right? Well, in dominoes, you can play dominoes two ways. You could play either cutthroat or teams. You know what I'm saying? Teams is when it's us versus them. meaning you got to help your cross man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all tally up y'all points together, blah 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 type shit, right? And then you got cutthroat. Cutthroat on the paper is 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody for themselves. You know what I'm saying? You cross everybody out. You sending the dominoes to you. You controlling the table. You there to win the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's two different styles of dominoes. It's just all about how you play and how the people you play with play, right? Well, they played teams. So they was always on some us versus them type shit. They helped they cross man things like that, right? So I was watching this shit. I'm a cutthroat nigga. Like, I cross everybody. I don't give a fuck. I'm there to win the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck, right? So I'm watching them. I'm like, okay, they play teams and shit, you know. Every time they play teams, they never played cutthroat. They always about helping their cross man. Let's win this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm watching them. I'm like, okay. And they cold with the shit. Like, this is what they do. They cold with it. They knew what bones you had. They knew what to play, when to play, how they was cold with the shit, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. I see how they play. Woo woo, right? One day, again, I told y'all, you know, prison politics, when you on the yard walking around, you know, you pretty much walking around with guys from your city, guys from your hood, or guys that know your people. You know, these the type of people you hang around in prison. Like, y'all share some type of mutual connection from the outside world type shit, right? So with that being said, like I said, I be with the Detroit guys, you know, spinning laps, shit like that, right? The guy DX that I said that was on the table, right? DX was from West Warren. He from my old neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? DX was an OG too. At this time, I was in my early 20s. I was like 22, 23, some shit like that. These guys, they was like in their 40s. You know what I'm saying? Like mid 40s, going in the 50s type shit, right? So they had a good 20 plus years on me. You know what I'm saying? So of course I didn't know DX. You know, I was a baby when he was on the street. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. But anyway, he from over there, like literally. He from that West Warren area, right? So one day, you know, he asked me, you know, where I'm from, because you know he know I be with the Detroit niggas. So you know, evidently I'm a Detroit nigga, right? So he like, yeah, man, where you from? Woo woo. I was in the movie room one day watching a movie, and he came and pulled up on me. You know, we call it pulling up on you in prison, when a nigga walk up on you, come sit down next to you, whatever. We call it pulling up on you. You know what I'm saying? So DX pulled up on me. You know what I'm saying? He like, hey, bro, where you from? Woo woo. You know, I told him, I'm like, you know, I'm from 7 Mile, but you know, my original hood, where I originally came from, is West Warren, Illinois, you know? And he like, what? I'm like, yeah. He like, nah, man. I'm like, what you mean? He like, I'm from over there. I'm like, where? He like, West Warren, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, straight up, you know? So I'm like, what side? Because, you know, like I told y'all before, over there on West Warren's 2 sides. You got this side of Illinois, that side of Illinois. They both the same hood, but they 2 different communities. So, you know, it's a difference. It's a difference in the people, all of this shit, right? So I'm asking them, like, you know, what side, you know? You said the Epworth side, Number Streets. I'm like, yeah, that's my side. You know what I'm saying? So he like, who's your people? Woo woo. Soon as I told him my daddy name, swear to God, soon as I told DX my daddy name, he knew exactly what I was talking about. He like, that's my man's. Woo woo. I'm like, what? I'm like, you and my daddy cool? You know what I'm saying? He like, that's my man's. He like, man, you can call him right now. He know exactly who I am. Woo woo, right? I'm like, straight up. I'm like, okay, well, when they break the yard, we gonna go out there. I'm gonna call him, you know? He like, all right, cool. But in between time, we talking more and more. He know my grandma. He know my aunties. Like, he know all my people, right? So me and him get cool as hell, like straight up. Okay. So by the time they blew yard, we went out there. I called my daddy. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to my daddy. You know, I called him. I'm like, hey man, you know this nigga, woo, you know, because by this time he done told me his name and shit. He just went by DX in prison. Okay, why he go by DX? Well, his name started with a D. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, the X come from being in a religion. And I told y'all, you know, when you become a Muslim, they put an X on your name. You know what I'm saying? So you, whatever your name is, X. Whatever your last name is, X. Whatever your nickname is, X. You know what I'm saying? Like, you not that no more. You a refined man type shit, right? So that's how he get the name DX. He joined the Millennials. I told y'all my hood, West Warren, GDs. You know what I'm saying? The number streets over there, West Warren, all that shit, all them GDs. You know what I'm saying? So DX was a GD because he was from the hood. So when GDs in prison convert to religion, they convert to the Millennials. You know what I'm saying? You got the Nation of Islam and the Mobites, they under the 5. And then you got the Millennials and the Sunni Muslims, they under the 6. You know what I'm saying? That's just how the gangbangers convert into religions. They start, you know, things like that, right? So when DX was ready to convert, he went to the Millennials because he a GD, you know, and the Millennials under the 6 type shit, right? Prison politics, man. Shit crazy. But anyway, he a millennial, right? So I call home, talk to my daddy. I'm like, hey, you know, dog, whoop. He's like, yeah, that's my boy. I'm like, what? As soon as I said that, DX snatched the phone from me. Him and my daddy, they on the line kicking it like, nigga, they boys. You know what I'm saying? Prison shit, crazy as hell, right? So anyway, after the phone call, you know, DX threw his arm around me. He like, nigga, you my boy. Woo, woo. Like, I got you. Woo, woo. Like, DX one of them niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I promise you, everybody in prison loved me. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody had major respect for me. Everybody knew I was a solid nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's just real recognized real. You know what I'm saying? So I was cool with all the killers, the gangbangers. You know what I'm saying? I had respect from everybody. Like, shit, you see my face ain't all beat up, no cuts, no buck 50s. I got all my teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was straight in that bitch. Y'all last weekend, bro. I might got a little fuzzy facial hair, you know. I don't be giving a fuck, man. I be out here grinding. I just do what it do, you know. I get to the cleanup when I get to it. Y'all last weekend, bro. Nah. Like I was saying with DX, you know, he one of them niggas, you know. And he loved me. Like, I got you. You bro, woo. That was that, right? So with that being said, not every day DX around me. You know what I'm saying? What's up, little bro? You need something? Woo, 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 right? I'm like, no, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had everything in that bitch. I ain't need shit. I'm like, you know, I want to get on that Domino's table. You know what I'm saying? Now, y'all know I be derailing, man, but stay with me, right? I'm like, I want to get on that Domino's table, you know? He like, straight up? I'm like, yeah, you know? He like, man, you know they don't like young niggas and they don't like niggas that don't know how to play. Woo woo. So he like, man, I'll put you on, but he like, don't embarrass me, you know what I'm saying? Type shit. I'm like, nigga, I'm cold with this shit. I'm like, put me on the table, bro. He like, all right, I got you. He like, when we go sit at the table, he like, I'm gonna give you my spot and I'm gonna tell them to let you rock. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, bet. So this is when we was on the lockdown. All right, boom. They break the bars. You know what I'm saying? Now we can come out our cell, go into the day room. So everybody rushing to the day room, getting their tables, everybody getting set up and shit, right? The dominoes table, they all set up. They waiting on DX. They saved DX spot, right? I came down there with DX. They waiting on him to sit down. I sit down. They looking at me crazy as hell. Dial, Joy Roll Red, and Black. You know what I'm saying? All three of them. Like I said, OG, killing niggas, robbing niggas, drug dealing niggas, all of that. You know what I'm saying? They all hit me with that look like, nigga, who the fuck is you? What the fuck you doing? You know what I'm saying? DX came right to it like, psh, hey, this little bro, woo woo, let him rock. You know what I'm saying? True G shit. They all was like, what? Like they didn't want to play with me, you know what I'm saying? But DX like, man, give me a shot, you know? So all right, get to shaking up the bones and shit. Everybody pull, everybody get their hands, you know, everybody getting set up, blah, 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 right? All right, now bones hit the table, big sixes. Let's start this game off. All right, everybody laying their bones, boom. You know what I started doing? I crossed everybody out. Y'all is tweaking, bro. I play cutthroat, man. I told y'all, I don't fight to win. I fight for survival. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't lose fights or none of that. I don't play for a dub. I play for survival. You know what I'm saying? So when it came to dominoes, I was on the same tip. Chopping everybody's head off. You know what I'm saying? I went after my crossman first, which was Red. That nigga looking at me crazy like, nigga, you keep crossing me out. Woo woo. Then Dial got to talking his shit. Then Black got to talking his shit. They didn't like how I was playing. Because like I said, they so used to playing teams. So they all about helping they crossmen. I crossed mine out right off the rip. The first chance I got, I crossed his ass out. And I kept crossing him out. And me crossing him out, it opened up the door for me to go ahead and cross out the motherfucker on the left and the right. Knock everybody down. Next thing I know, that like I said, they didn't like how I was playing. But when they seen me sitting in the dominoes all the way to me, all the way from around the table, they see the domino move around everybody and come to me. And then they see me control the table. They were like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this nigga know how to play for real. Y'all ass tweaking, bro. How about that? Real gangster shit. Again, I didn't mention 2 deceased people. Y'all know I don't play with the dead. This real shit, you know. So everybody mad at me at first. But then, like I said, when they seen me moving that domino around and they seen what I was doing, they were like, oh shit, this nigga playing. You know what I'm saying? They went from playing teams to start playing cutthroat. Maybe like the 3rd or 4th round. You know what I'm saying? This time, I damn near got the game on lock at this point. So now they like, fuck that. Now they playing cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? When I did that, the whole momentum of the game changed. Everything changed. Just the way how they play, everything. I swear to God on my kids, I changed the whole game by myself just because I can't cutthroat. I didn't abide by their rules and how they like to do shit. I came in on my own time, you know what I'm saying? And they couldn't do nothing but respect it. And they turned around and liked that shit, you know what I'm saying? So after that, it was just straight cutthroat. Like, they crossed out there, us versus them, and it was just 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, my first game in, swear to God. Like, it turned just like that. Because they looking at me like, nigga, why you keep crossing your crossman out? And then they start seeing it. Like, oh, you see what he doing? You know what I'm saying? Man, turned the whole momentum of the game. So with that being said, everybody in it for themselves. The game got a whole lot better. You know what I'm saying? The thinking process became a whole lot different. Like, it was just some good shit. You know what I'm saying? So everybody respected me for that. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't come playing how everybody else like them to play and follow their rules. I don't fuck that. Y'all is tweaking, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's cutthroat. Man, after that, all of them at that table gained respect for me. So all of them started fucking with me after that. Dial, Black, and Joy Roll Red, right? DX was already in the pocket, you know what I'm saying? That's bro. So now I didn't locked in with the table. Why I took DX spot? I took his spot. They wanted me to play. I mean, of course, DX was still welcome to the table. You know what I'm saying? But I took DX spot, like real shit. I became a regular at that table, and DX would just let me have his spot because he was on some other shit. With his paperwork and in between his girl and all that, he sat around doing a lot of thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was on or whatnot. So I ended up taking his spot. You know what I'm saying? It became an all day everything, all day, everyday thing. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. We hit the yard. They want me to work out with them, all type of shit. All them big diesel ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? OG diesel ass niggas, right? I'm working out with them. Them niggas push me to lift heavy ass shit, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, it was real in that bitch. And it all started off dominoes. You know what I'm saying? We all got cool as hell. Like, them became my niggas. Black and Dial was from the east side. You know what I'm saying? Me and Red, we was from the west side. Red from Joy Road. Now, let's talk about Red. I had to break all that down. Now we here on Red, right? Charles Tillman. You know what I'm saying? Me and him get cool. He a motherfucking legend. If y'all know who he is, y'all know how he was coming. That nigga drug kingpin, get money, you know what I'm saying? New Corvettes, all of that. That nigga was doing all that shit back then at that time, back, in the street lord era, back in the 90s and shit like that. Like, yeah, he was getting it like that back then. You know what I'm saying? And he was straight in prison. Like, all of his Joy Road family loved him. They took care of him, all that. Like, he was official. He one of them niggas. Original Joy Boy, original Exit 9, original Murder Mac, all that. You know what I'm saying? He was one of them, for real. And everybody in the joint respected him. Everybody knew him. Everybody vouched for him. Like, no, he was one of them. You know what I'm saying? Real shit, right? And it was a crew of Joy Road OGs in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have, like, most of Adrian was Detroit niggas, right? So, with gangs at different tables, you had Detroit niggas that had their own tables too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had a 7 Mile table, you had a 6 Mile table, a Joy Road table, a Plymouth, Schoolcraft, you know what I'm saying? A Harper, you know what I'm saying? The East Warren, Mac Ave, like, everybody had a table. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Real shit. Every hood had a picnic table, like real shit. And every table at least had 4 or 5 niggas. At least. You know what I'm saying? Like real shit. But he was from Joy Road. So he was at the Joy Road table, and all of them niggas was OGs, get money ass niggas, like real shit. And they all vouched, like, yeah, bro, he one of them. Well, anyway, like I said, they taking a liking into me because I brought a different style to the table. So Red get to spending laps with me, Where you from, who your people, blah, blah, blah. We talking this shit. Crazy thing is, 7 Mile and Joy Road got a connection like that. You know what I'm saying? 7 Mile to Joy Road. Y'all is tweaking, bro. So his people and my people was aligned with each other. You know what I'm saying? He became my dog. You know what I'm saying? Crazy as hell. Like, this how it go, you know? So me and him, boys. You know what I'm saying? And you couldn't play with Red. Like, Red only fuck with his niggas. The niggas that he fuck with, that's it. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't one of them, you cannot play with him. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? And he had a very small handful of niggas he fucked with. The Joy Raw niggas, the niggas at the Domino's table, you know what I'm saying? Me and a couple of my guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? He didn't fuck with everybody. He was cool with everybody, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't fuck with everybody, you know. I told y'all before about you know, KD's, you know, a lot of people know about Joy Road from KD's, you know, Joy Road, 89 come up off the freeway. You know what I'm saying? All that shit, like, come to find out, that nigga not even from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, real shit. And I learned that from Joy Road Red and his crew, you know? Real shit. They said that nigga from Plymouth, man. His name Kenneth. They call him Kenneth from Plymouth. How about that? I'm like, what? I'm like, crazy because nigga P-Rock about that life. Why the fuck was he claiming Joy Road? A lot of them Plymouth niggas was claiming Joy Road back then. You know what I'm saying? Crazy as hell. But yeah, you know, they the ones told me about KD's and shit. So, nah, that ain't the real Joy Road. The real Joy Road, again, like Jesse James back in his time, you know, that was the real Joy Boys, you know. But anyway, he one of them. And you couldn't play with him if you weren't one of his guys, you know. So, me and him get cool as fuck, locked in. You know, we talking about all type of shit. You know, he telling me about all the cars and houses he had, you know, all this money he got saved up, you know, even from that shit. Like, you know, he was like, I stopped doing that shit in my 30s. I still got money stacked up from that shit, you know. Like, he really lived that life, you know. Then the cooler and cooler me and him got, you know, he started showing me pictures, you know what I'm saying? Like, confirming the shit that he was talking about. I'm like, damn, straight up. Like, that nigga was in fucking Benz's back in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn. Clean, the new Benz at that time, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was really doing that shit. I'm like, damn, all right. Okay, my dog. Well, me and him playing around. Like I said, I played around with Tiger. Like, I could choke him out. He'd be laughing and shit. Same thing with Red. Do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? We crack jokes on each other. You know what I'm saying? We always, you know, hitting each other, pushing each other, like all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'd jump up in each other's face, just swell up on each other. Like, nigga, I knock your ass out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we did shit like that, you know? And like I said, everybody couldn't do that with him, you know? But he took a liking into me, you know what I'm saying? So me and him got to playing like that. And everybody in prison knew how me and Red played. Like, everybody knew, like, we was brothers, you know what I'm saying? Like, we used to do that. You know, it's called swelling up on a nigga when you run up on him and like, bitch, I knock your ass out. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I used to swell up on Red every day. You know what I'm saying? You can't even play with Red like that. I swell up on that nigga every day in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? And everybody was like, damn, Red really fuck with bro. You know, like real shit. Cause wasn't nobody swelling up on Red. Like, nigga, you crazy. Shit. I missed the roll up. Y'all ass tweaking, bro. I swell up on Red. Fast as hell. Nigga, what? Nigga, you know what it is? Like, straight up. Man, that was my nigga, man. And, man, I got so many memories with him. It's crazy. I remember one time I was, we in the weight pit working out, right? and I had 275 on the bar, right? So I'm doing my set. This nigga stood over me and pushed the bar down on my chest, like where I couldn't move it and shit, man. Like that shit was funny as hell. And everybody, was in the weight pit just laughing, like, because everybody knew we played like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my nigga, straight up. So one time, like I said, after he pushed the weight down on me, we did so much shit, but I'm just telling y'all about this one little shit, right? So after he pushed the weight on me and shit, he had this shit held on my chest about 20, 30 seconds. Like I was just stuck. Like that shit was funny as hell. But my get back, right? I got back on his ass. I caught him in the microwave room with his back turned, like he couldn't see me and shit. I ran right up on his ass, choked him from behind, threw him on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Man, everybody seen that shit. It's in the day room, So like I said, it's 3 day rooms and they all glass. Like you can see through them, because the police got to be able to watch everybody, So it's all see-through glass. It's just the glass, like it's like soundproof. You know what I'm saying? So you can't hear from one day room to the next day room, but y'all all can see each other. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. So everybody seen me slam him on the ground and shit. Everybody laughing. You know what I'm saying? Like, the shit, man, me and him, we used to do so much funny ass shit. Like, we kept everybody laughing. Dog, we had kept the time going. Like, man, me and Red, that was my, man, that was my G. That was my baby. That was my nigga. That was my dog. You know what I'm saying? Never no funny shit. None of that. Like real niggas. You know what I'm saying? And we 20 years apart. And we was like boys. Like we grew up together. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my nigga. But I slammed his ass on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Everybody laughing about the shit. So this nigga got back at me. You know what I'm saying? So what he did was he had one of his homeboys come sit at the Domino's table with us. You know what I'm saying? And I knew something was off. I'm like, dog, why the fuck this nigga sitting at the table? You know what I'm saying? Like, Red's supposed to be at the table. Why this nigga sitting at the table? And, I'm like, all right, whatever, come on, let's go. So we shaking the bones up. Everybody go to grab their pieces. Next thing I know, I get my neck run straight up. Like, that nigga just came straight snatch me off the table, bro. I told you, like, in them day rooms, they don't got no back piece on the chair, So you could just slide up on the table and slide off. Man, that nigga straight run my neck, slung me right off the table. You know what I'm saying? Dominoes in my hand and everything. I'm looking stupid. I got snatched straight off the table, fell to the ground. You know what I'm saying? He got me. I let him have it after that. I was like, fuck you won that shit. Straight up. Like, man, it wasn't no topping that. Like, getting snatched off the table while you got the damn pieces in your hand is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, fuck it, he got that. Everybody crying, laughing, like, man, y'all gonna see when I get doing these interviews, nigga gonna confirm this shit, straight up. But we kept everybody laughing, man. Like we had a great time, like to be in prison, where everybody miserable at and all of that shit. Like I promise you, we was not like that. You know what I'm saying? Of course, niggas had their days, but for the most part, man, we was laughing and burning up time. Like real talk, real talk. But Red was my baby, Fucked me up, man. With that being said, maybe about 2 years went by, right? So I did have my time with him, right? 2 years went by, I get transferred to another prison. So I'm with Red for a good 2 years, you know what I'm saying? We did that shit for 2 years straight, like laughed our time off, you know what I'm saying, type shit. But anyway, I get transferred to a new prison. I don't see Red no more, none of them. I'm gone, right? Okay. I knew that Red was getting out around the same time I was getting out. I think he had like another year after me. You know what I'm saying? So he was getting out around the same time I was getting out. So we used to always talk about it. Like, bitch, when you get out, see your ass out there, see you in these cars. You know what I'm saying? See if you fucking with these houses. Woo woo. We gonna see what you be on, see what you on, blah blah blah. We did all that shit talking. Like, yeah, nigga, we gonna see. You know what I'm saying? So my intentions was to run into him. You know what I'm saying? Out here in the world, type shit, right? Man, um, a few years then went by, right? So I got out 2015. You know what I'm saying? Uh, y'all know my time be off. I don't remember exactly what year it was that he died, but it was for sure good 5 to 6 years ago. You know what I'm saying? At least, right? So it might have been a good 4 5 years. Me and him was out here in the world, but we didn't bump into each other. But anyway, when I got transferred to the next prison I had to go to, he ended up getting transferred to another prison, right? And the prison he went to, he got cool with some guys from the east side of Detroit. You know what I'm saying? He got cool with them. I don't know what their connection was, but he ended up linking up with some east side niggas, right? And they was talking about, dealing the drugs and all of that shit. East side niggas was on what he was on, so they was on some locked in shit. Like, okay, when we get out, you know what I'm saying, we gonna go ahead and make a run, woo, get this bread, blah blah blah. And Red was with it. So uh Red was politicking with them, until they got out. They linked up, and you know, um, they all went down to Kentucky together. And when they went down there, the East Side niggas set Red up. They shot him dead, killed him right there, and left him there, out there in Kentucky. You know, um, the way how I found out about this, cause one of my Facebook friends, that's her uncle or cousin, but she had posted a picture of him, and she had the caption saying, rest in peace, woo woo. I'm looking like, nah, that's Red. You know what I'm saying? I hop right in her inbox. I'm like, hold on, is this blah 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 woo woo? She like, yeah. I'm like, nah, that's my nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck happened? And she told me the story. I'm like, damn, ain't no way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even get to run into him out here. And he came out, he was getting money, he was back on it, but I just didn't get to bump into him. And like I said, in the mix of that, he linked up with them East Side niggas, to, go get some money out there in Kentucky, but it was a fake run, you know what I'm saying? They set him up and killed him. But the message behind this, right? So, like I said, how cool we was in prison and things like that. The honest truth is, you got to just leave that shit in prison. Just saying, like, to the guys that been to prison, shit like that. Y'all know, y'all got cool with some guys in there, shit like that, whatever. Leave it in there. You know what I'm saying? When you come out here to the world, be by yourself. You can't trust these niggas. You got to understand, these niggas is criminals. You know what I'm saying? Just like you. Y'all criminals. So, you can't trust them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all got cool while y'all was in jail, but that's just jail. Jail in the world, two different things, So, my point is just leave that shit in there, because You could be cool with a nigga in there, and the whole time he plotting to get you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he want to knock you off, you know? And this is why he playing cool with you. Well, that's some milk. Y'all ass tweaking, bro. Nah, he should have just left that friendship in prison. You know what I'm saying? But he carried that friendship out here into the world. And, you know, it turned on him. You know what I'm saying? Got him killed. I told you I had a whole little crew inside of my gang and everything while I was in prison. Like, I had a lot of niggas that fuck with me, you know what I'm saying? But when we got out here in the world, it was like, all right, everybody do their thing. You know what I'm saying? Me and a lot of the guys I was in there with, we all got out around the same time. You know what I'm saying? I ran into a bunch of other guys I was in there with, you know, and we have a quick convo or something, whoop, and, you know, we go on about our business. Like, you got to leave it in there. It is what it is, you know? So, yeah, you know, just if you go to jail or you out of jail now and, you know, you was cool with some niggas in there, you know, you might run into them out here or, you know, y'all bump into each other on social media, whatever, however y'all connect, leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Don't get too personal or too close with anybody. You don't know what's on their mind, what they going through. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. You know, so you got to protect yours at all time. And Red was a perfect example of this. You know, he didn't protect himself. You know, man, I can't believe it. You know, because he ain't even like that. You know, but he got caught slipping, man. You know, so this can happen to anybody. So again, the lesson is you is in going if you going to jail or you know jail coming up for you, whatever, you know, when you get out, leave all that friendship in there. Don't bring it out here because you don't know what the fuck is on somebody's mind. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. A lot of these guys, they come home and they don't got nothing to come home to. You know what I'm saying? They be in there talking that shit like they got this, they got that, they good over here, blah 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 blah, and they get out in the world and they don't got shit. In reality, don't nobody fuck with them, nothing. They was just in there perping. You know what I'm saying? And now you call yourself fucking with this nigga that was in there perping because he could talk the talk, but now you get out here in the world with him. That nigga ain't on shit. Fuck around and set you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas be doing that. You know what I'm saying? I told you I ran into a nigga that I was locked up with. He was my homie. Nigga always had fresh cuts, all that. Like, fresh. He was like fresh in jail. You know what I'm saying? And he was always talking all that get money shit, all of that. I'm like, okay. He was my dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, real G shit. I spoke on this, you know? You know, he was my dog. You know, we used to talk about all type of shit. You know, he was flipping the phones at the time. You know, the iPhones, scam shit, whatever they had going on. That shit was flying like a motherfucker. He had all that shit. Like, that was his thing, you know. Man, got out here in the world. I literally pulled up to a light on 8 Mile in Greenfield. You know what I'm saying? I pull up to the light. This nigga was in the middle of the street, bummed out, begging for change. You know what I'm saying? Like, the same nigga I was talking about, I was in jail with, fresh as hell, fresh cut, all that shit. Man, this nigga was literally out there on 8 Mile in Greenfield, begging for change. He ran up on the person car. You know what I'm saying? He knocking on the window, all type of shit. Bummed out and all of that. And I'm behind that car that he ran up on. So I'm looking at him, I'm like, that nigga look familiar, you know what I'm saying? And then after the person ignored him, by this time the light is changing, you know, so now the traffic moving. And when he, you know, bagged out that car, And he looked at me. I looked at him. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, that's dog. By this time, he looked at me. He throwing his hand. What up, bro? And I'll pull right off on that nigga, man. Fuck out of here. Type of time, you know? And that's true G shit. So again, you know, leave that jail friendship in jail, you know. I ran into one of my top dogs I was in prison with, you know, my little homie Tino. You know what I'm saying? I ran into him at the casino. You know, we both at the same table. You know, we both in there shooting. We popping our little shit at the same time, but we there on some getting money shit, you know? Like, yeah, that prison shit was cool, but, you know, we out in the world now. Like, we don't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't exchange numbers or nothing. We was just shooting dice, talking little shit, and we went on about our way. That's how you got to do it, you know? You can't trust these people, man. You don't know what they got going on. You know what I'm saying? And Red didn't know what these niggas had going on. These niggas had murder on their mind. And that's what they did. They took my dog out, you know? So again, that's the lesson. And even if you could relate that, you know, out here in the real world, besides prison, I'm just, you know, saying prison because that's what happened to Red. But you know, you could relate that out here. You know, meaning like if you had a friendship with somebody, and you know, y'all fall out or whatever, leave it at that. Don't try and rekindle it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if some years then went by, you know. Let me tell you some real shit. I ain't even speak on this, right? Let me tell you some real shit. This shit happened recently, like a few weeks ago, right? Now, y'all know I told you I be door dashing, I gamble, I do all type of shit, right? I'm out door dashing, right, one night, right? A few weeks ago, you know, just on some bullshit, get a little side money, right? So I had picked up an order and I went to, you know, drop it off at the nigga crib, you know, put it on his porch, right? Just a random customer, right? The nigga came to the door. It was my homie Smooth from back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I said, you know, the nigga tried to set me up on a bogus robbery. I just got out of jail, all type of shit. I had to cut him off. You know what I'm saying? That was my bro. This nigga come to the door. I'm looking like, what the fuck? The nigga peed me like, oh, what's up, nigga? Woo, woo. I'm like, shit, what's up? You know? He like, man, shit, you know, you see where I'm living, woo, woo. He like, man, you can slide through whenever you want to, you know, hit me up. I still got the same number, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I got you. Pieced him out, you know what I'm saying? Went on by my business. Never called him. I know his number. Never called him, none of that. It's been 7 years, man. This happened back in 2019. Me and him fell apart. We ain't talked ever since, you know. Now here it is, 7 years later. I'm at your door and now you want to be buddy and shit, you know. I don't know you no more. I can't do that and I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Flat out. So, nah, that shit was dead, you know. But just saying, for example, you know, like something like that happened, you know, don't ever rekindle a friendship, especially when years, you know, time that went by, you don't know that person no more. You know what I'm saying? You got to protect you. So, hopefully y'all learned something from that, you know. Joy Roll Red, man. Rest in peace, my dog, man. Shit crazy. How about that? It's been another episode of Roll Up a Poet. So get your blood rolled and your drink poured.